Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and press the bell icon so that the next time the episode comes up, you get a notification.
As an entrepreneur, you can stop at any time. I can leave at 6, right? But kahin na andar there is a fire or khujli which says ki yaar nahi, I got to do more, and you kind of build the pressure on your own, right?
और सारी accountability तो आपकी खुद की है ना. You're not working for
Correct.
someone कि मैं अपना काम करके निकल जाऊँ.
Correct. And I think that's what drives you, right? The fact that there's no ceiling, right?
Oh, you are very much boy looking.
हमें तो लगा बस हिलते डुलते आओगे.
अबे लड़की है क्या? क्या इतना वो कर रहा है? क्योंकि लड़की है तभी वो कर सकती है, लड़का नहीं कर सकता.
Like there are a lot of boys who also complain they reject us. And friends zone us because we are nice. अरे भैया तुमको मेडल चाहिए क्या?
आप देख रहे हो कि how fragile masculinity is.
A lot of times going to therapy means you're pagal.
It's more about male pleasure as per the patriarchal society we are living in. But that is not right.
Hello everyone, this is Ankush Bahuguna and you have tuned into my podcast, The Gentleman Show by The Man Company, जहाँ पर हम हर उस एस्पेक्ट के बारे में बात करते हैं जो हमारी लाइफ से जुड़ा होता है, जिसके बारे में हम बहुत सोचते हैं पर सोचते ही रहते हैं, बात नहीं करते. आज हम बात करने वाले entrepreneurship. Wow, I actually got that right in the first go. आज हम बात करने वाले entrepreneurship की and what it takes to be an entrepreneur, what is life like as an entrepreneur. And to discuss that, we have a very interesting duo who are not just business partners, but they're also life partners. Please welcome Rohan and Swati, who are the co-founders of Cash Karo. Hi.
Hello, how are you
Hey.
doing?
I'm doing well. This sounds like it's going to be one interesting episode.
We hope so.
Yeah. How are you guys feeling about being here?
We're excited. Good
That's
to be
a
here.
one-word answer. Rohan.
That's what you will observe. He will give one-word answers and then he will look at me and I'll be like, oh yeah, we're feeling good, and then I'll have a lot more to add.
ऐसे couples में होता है कि आप एक चीज बोलते हो and your partner completes the rest of it. Does that happen with both of you?
Well, I give the one word, then she completes.
It's like the
and then she gives the story around it.
Yeah, it's like if you ask how we met, his answer will be like this and I'll be like,
the
"Hello."
year was this, and then Swati goes with the rest of the story.
See, my version of how we met is bullet points, right? Point 1, point 2, point 3. Her version is it was
this time of the day.
It was this time of the day. It was sunny,
it's
and
not
then
so
what
bad,
happened?
okay. Hello, it's not so bad. But yeah. Well,
Okay, so let's actually start from there. That's a good starting point. How did both of you meet and fall in love?
I'll tell you because I think I'll give you the more interesting bit.
Okay.
So,
And then we'll come to your bullet points.
yeah.
I'll just summarize what she said.
So let's do this. You give us the first bullet point and then you give us the summary.
So we were in LSE together.
Swati, over to you.
Really? Okay. Well, London School of Economics, we were studying there. He was my 1 year senior. And then all these Indian friends of mine were like, आज हम अपने senior के घर जा रहे हैं and उसने दाल और भिंडी बनाई है. And I was like, ये कौन सा senior है जो Indian खाना बनाता है? And as a poor student in London, that was a big draw.
100 points तो ऐसे ही मिल गए कि cooks.
100 points शादी तक. उसके बाद मैंने खाना बनाना छोड़ दिया.
Wow.
Yeah, so I tagged along with them, and that's when I went to his flat and I met him, and I was like, actually he's a nice guy. And that's how we became friends. And then I graduated from London School of Economics. I started work at Goldman Sachs in London. And
One second. I want to ask you, what was your first impression do you remember when you saw him for the first time?
Actually, I do remember that flat when I entered, and he was in the kitchen, and there was a big bowl of bhindi, and I was like, wow, pehle ye kaati kisne?
What was your first impression of her?
I saw her when she was, in college and, like hustling around in...
Achha, you'd already seen her.
Yeah.
Noticed her.
So we were in
Noticed is the word.
Noticed. Seen तो हो जाता है.
Noticed.
Exactly.
हो चुका था.
And I was like, fight hai.
अच्छा.
फाइट है, एक दिन co-founder बनाऊंगा. लंबी गेम खेली इसने.
Right. हाँ, then?
Then I was looking for a flatmate, and I got to know that this guy who cooks actually has found an apartment, and I told my parents कि अगर मैं इसके साथ रहूँ and we find one more girl.
You're not dating by this
No,
time.
we were
No.
we just
So
acquaintance.
we were friends. At this point, we were
But
friends.
दोस्त बन चुके थे.
हाँ,
just like barely.
And you had fallen for her already.
नहीं, at this point we were friends. Common circle था, and she was comfortable enough that when she was looking for a flatmate, she was like, "Look, Rohan, are you looking?" And
हाँ.
And my parents said तुम्हें कोई लड़की नहीं मिली, तुम्हें लड़के के साथ ही शेयर करना है. I said सोचो कभी बल्ब खराब होगा घर में, कुछ खराब होगा तो बल्ब चेंज कर सकता है फ्लैट में, लड़का हो तो अच्छा है. So and I
Now
thought,
how many years has it been?
so we've been married 13 years.
13 years.
और अब क्या सिचुएशन है, वो बल्ब ठीक करते हैं?
मैं बल्ब बदलती हूँ. नहीं मैं
नहीं.
कैश करो पे जाके अमेज़न पे कैश करो से अमेज़न पे जाके बल्ब ऑर्डर करती हूँ,
Very
फिर मैं बल्ब
smooth,
को चेंज करती हूँ.
very subtle plug-in, हाँ, very subtle plug-in.
हाँ, और उसके बाद या सो बल्ब वगैरह तो अभी मेरा डिपार्टमेंट हो गया है. And then that's it. So we met like that. We were flatmates there for 3 years before we started dating. Then once we, and I think it was Valentine's Day when we both were like home, and when we watched a
Sparks
movie
flew.
together. And I was like, yeah, he's quite a nice guy. And then I always keep thinking ki I want to be with someone who's as nice a guy as Rohan is. And then I was like, I always keep comparing everyone to Rohan. Then why not Rohan? And that's how it started.
So in my head, right, like
What are the
I-
bullet points?
No. So while we are as flatmates, right? So I had a very clear boundary, right? Like, look, you cannot be hitting on your flatmate. Complicates life, right?
Right.
And that's when I think, post this Valentine's Day evening, where it just so happened that we were both home. She started throwing a lot of hints.
Because I
And-
knew that in college
Oh,
I
you
knew
knew that if I throw hints at him, ये तो पट
because
जाएगा.
in college he did like me, and then I know that when we became flatmates, he decided कि नहीं अभी flatmates में तो only when she gives me the green signal I will make a move.
So this was
because,
so easy for you because you already knew his side.
I suspected it.
Acha, you suspected it. Okay. And then she threw hints at you and you caught them.
I caught them.
Caught them, ran with them, decided to make a house out of the hints.
That's like rom-com material, यार. इस पे movie बननी चाहिए, seriously. Also because like it's so cool that you get someone who not only are you in love with that person, but you also friends, yes, but you also make a career with them.
That
In so many couples, the conflict is that they don't understand each other's careers.
Yep.
No?
So Rohan's standard joke is that जब तुम्हें घर चाहिए था मैंने घर ढूंढा, जब तुम्हें जॉब चाहिए थी मैंने जॉब ढूंढी, because we started the business after that.
Right.
So he always takes a lot of credit for these life-changing things that have happened, which I think is fair. He can take credit. Yeah.
You have nothing to say to that.
Look, she's giving me a compliment. I'm saying you सच्ची बोल रही है तो मैं क्या बोलूँ?
Okay. So tell me one thing. Does it help professionally that you are, in love? You're a couple. So does that help in professionally, or does that pull you back?
I think it helps. I think it helps in when we were starting off, right? See with when you're starting off, there's a lot of understanding gaps, trust issues, finance issues, and
मतलब relationship वाले trust issues कम पड़ गए थे क्या कि मतलब professionally trust issues शुरू
I
हो
think
रहे हैं?
उनकी बारी नहीं आई because इतने busy थे हम.
and we started this business I think a year into us being married, and the fact that we were so comfortable, right? We were flatmates.
How long did you date for before getting married?
3 months.
And you got married?
So I'll tell you what happened, right? This
Yeah,
is
that's
again very,
an
very
interesting story. Yeah.
So we started dating. 3 months into it, Swati's mother comes to visit us. Now it so happens that Swati's mother knows that we're dating.
Oh,
So
wow.
first day all good. Second day we had great meal, and then Swati's mom sits us together and said, "Plan kya hai?"
Oh shit.
So at this point, Swati and I haven't had a conversation. Right?
आपस में भी बात नहीं करी
हमने
इस
बात ही
बारे
नहीं
में.
हुई because look, it's 3 months, right? So
Yeah.
in our head we're thinking, look, 3 months, get to know each other, figure out, like, is there a fit? And then it sort of went from, plan kya hai in that sort of next 45
said
minutes.
that तुम 3 साल से इकट्ठे रह रहे हो, flatmates हो.
उनको 3 महीने से मतलब नहीं, उनको लग रहा है तुम 3
Exactly.
साल
तीन
से
साल से
साथ
तुम
हो.
जानते हो, अब और कितना जानोगे एक दूसरे को?
Right.
जिसे अब और क्या ही पता लग जाएगा, तुम एक दूसरे को अपने वर्स्ट पजामेस में भी देख चुके हो, अब
Yeah.
तुम्हारे पास कुछ नहीं है जो तुम 3 महीने और के बाद क्या लगाना चाहते हो टाइम.
Right.
So suddenly we went from hey, we just started dating to accelerated mode. My parents got involved, and then once the parents are involved, it's like, look.
And parents मान गए इतनी आसानी से दोनों
See,
parents.
the parents had both, like I had met her parents because flatmates थे, तो अगर वो आ रहे हैं लंदन तो मिल रहे हैं.
ये कौन cool parents है भाई ये जो they're okay with their sons and daughters living in with not even people they're dating, they just like have flatmates of the opposite gender. I can't imagine my parents being okay with that.
So yeah, so from there, accelerated mode, I think everything happened fast forward from there on.
Yeah.
But you didn't get nervous कि 3 महीने अभी तो डेट करना शुरू कर अब शादी.
You know what? For us, right? A lot of some of these very pivotal moments have been very easy. So the moment where in a conversation after dinner we're sort of looking at each other and saying, look, this is going to happen, right? And we're sort of ready for it. And it wasn't that ek discussion karenge, right? Same thing happened when we started the business together. It wasn't that we were even thinking ki is this going to be complicated?
And
Are we going to
pros
have
and
differences?
con list बनाए हमने ऐसा कुछ नहीं किया.
हमारा it
Just
just
dive right
happened.
in.
It just happened naturally. And while a lot of people have since asked us, right, look, how is it to work with your spouse? It just happened. For us, it was just natural, and it's not been a uncomfortable place to be ever.
For any kind of decision.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so.
She's smiling. मेरी बारी कब आएगी आंसर करने की?
No, it's okay. It's totally okay. No, but actually, generally, we found quite early in our professional working relationship that every time there was difference of opinion, there would be a natural, हम दोनों में से एक का वो area होगा. Like, and we let that person take the lead. Like the way we divide our responsibility, if let's say we are talking about tech pipeline or product pipeline, I will give my views, but uske baad he has to decide because it's his domain. But if we are talking about like, when should we do a fundraise, what's our next PR going to be,
you more with it.
then he'll be like, theek hai, I think we should do this, and I will definitely like, want to take that into account as well. But if I want to do something different, I know I can, and he will let me because it's my domain.
So it helps that both of you understand your strengths, basically, individual strengths.
Completely.
But ऐसे कभी ego पे आ जाता है कि but like how are you better at this than me?
I think that's the point, that we don't have ego issues between us, and we've fortunately never had. And I think
I love how he's looking at you right now.
have we?
So actually,
I
you know
don't know about it.
what I was going to add is that we understand that, but in doing this journey, right, there are so many things happening, right? So in my head, I'm like, look, you're going to take care of investor, all of this, yours. आप कर लो, मुझे नहीं करना, because I have 20 other things to do. And I think she probably feels the same. So we found a balance, right? And it's not like, I don't think we've ever made a list ki, okay, look, this is yours, this is mine. It just happened, right? So why is tech mine? Just happened naturally.
But then, so if you started working together so early on, what was your relationship like? क्योंकि कितने सारे मेरे दोस्त बोलते हैं कि यार, I'm so focused at work right now, I can't date. मतलब मुझसे नहीं handle होगा. I can't have a girlfriend right now because मेरा सारा focus यहाँ जा रहा है. So then, what was your relationship like if you were always working together?
I think
remember our first date, the Thai restaurant. So when we started dating,
Just say yes. Say yes.
No, I do, but
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out where is this connected.
Where's the
Right.
connection?
Yes.
No, I was getting to the connection because we were flatmates who graduated to dating. We said, okay, now we must officially go on our first date. And at that time, I was working at Goldman, and he used to bike around in London. So he biked over to my office, and my working hours used to be like 8 a.m. till 12 baje every day. So he came, I went down at 9 o'clock, I did a dinner with him, I went back up to work. So that's how our dating part started, and that initial time we had some time when we weren't working together. So we got married, and uske baad every weekend he'll be like, आज ना इस बार वो आइडिया एक्सप्लोर करना है, इस बार कॉइन मशीन का आइडिया, साउथ हॉल जाएंगे हम लंदन में ट्रेन पे चढ़ के. मैंने कहा यार लोग शादी के बाद अपने अर्ली वीकेंड्स अच्छी सी जगह पे जाते हैं.
तुम लोग केस स्टडी करने लेके जा रहे हो. I want to talk about work life balance. वो है या नहीं है? क्योंकि I'm pretty sure काम घर पे आता ही है, क्योंकि आप दोनों काम लेके तो घर पे आते ही हो.
As soon as I said that word, I wanted to take it back. And then I was like, oh God, इसने यही पकड़ लिया.
So Rohan, tell me.
It's hard. It's honestly, what happens is that there are times when both of us want to kind of disconnect. But because we are already wired in, right? So there'll be times when, let's say, I've come back home, let's say at 8 o'clock. Let's say Swati's left a little earlier. Now there are things that are running in her mind, right? At 8:30, I want to kind of totally disconnect. I don't want to talk about work, right? But it's on her mind, right? So, and so that's when she's going to, now I'm a morning person. Now in the morning, I'm up, she's up a little later. I already have 20 things, right?
Shit, okay.
So in that sense, we're kind of always struggling to disconnect. So even sometimes when we go for dinner,
She'll bring it up. Or
she'll bring it up, I'll bring it up. Or there are just things that we need to discuss, right? And hota kya hai ki while kaam pe we're together, because we're doing different things, there are days where we actually have not spoken at all at work.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and actually many days are like that. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said many days I like that.
Are like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Like sometimes, we will joke that okay, we'll go to Maldives and then it'll be like, oh, itna sundar hoga, perfect. So वहाँ बैठ के ये काम खत्म कर लेंगे.
Oh, wow.
And I'll be like, no, मतलब कि
everything is
हम
an
वहाँ के
offsite.
नहीं करेंगे.
It's an
Everything is
offsite.
offsite.
It's an offsite.
Yeah. And morning में like so Rohan wakes up at 5:30. I'm up at the 6. And uske baad I'm doing my yoga and all, and he'll do his workout quickly, get ready. So at that time I'm like, no, I'm still doing my yoga, so I don't want to talk about it yet, But then in between we kind of go into each other's spaces and we talk. But I think that's okay because I feel it's actually more pressure to tell yourself to disconnect sometimes. Or thoda sa karke you feel better and just move on.
I guess as long as both of you have found that comfort, like you've probably accepted it by now.
Yeah. Acceptance, that's the right word.
As I said, right, a lot of this is just happening naturally to us. It's not like, obviously, when somebody asks you like, okay, ye ho raha hai hamare saath, and we are kind of not disconnecting, but it's not uncomfortable that we're not disconnecting.
And I think after 9:30 though we are disconnected. Weekends also. And we have friends, we have plans, we have social stuff. So that's the best thing.
I like how
because-
she...
Yeah.
I like how she found it was important to say we have friends.
Yeah, we have friends. So when we meet friends, at least that's a, forced disconnect, which is great. So that's why I make sure to plan things because then koi possibility nahi hai ki kaam saath jayega.
I love how entrepreneurs feel that it's necessary to point out कि हमारे भी दोस्त होते हैं. हम
हाँ,
इतना काम
मतलब-
करते हैं लेकिन दोस्त भी बना लेते हैं हम
That's
लोग.
true. And अक्सर पता है कई दोस्त उनमें से entrepreneur ही है.
Oh wow.
Yeah, वो भी है.
I'm wondering what it would be like to be a fly on the wall in this situation and understand कि ये लोग जब chill कर रहे होते हैं तो क्या बातें कर रहे होते हैं.
इसके बाद हम वहीं जा रहे हैं. साथ चलो तो.
What are vacations like then?
So we do take time out, right? So
Yeah.
I think when we are traveling, so I am the inquisitive traveler, right? So I will do my research. I want to go to these XYZ places. So I'm that sort of guy.
So there are two types of travelers. One who want to stay in and chill, and one is like the hectic one कि ये भी करना है, ये भी करना है, ये भी करना है.
So I'm that, right? So
Okay.
I have done all my R&D. I know exactly कौन सी जगह पे जाना है. Every review has been read.
I made a reel on exact same thing. Anyway.
And
Yeah.
and Swati is sort of happy to go along, but up to a point. So there is this, like, so for me, I'm always gauging कि tipping point आ रहा है, आ गया.
मतलब 2 monastery और देख ले, 2 temple और ढूंढ ले, ये कर दे और तो I'll be like ठीक है इतना कर सकते हैं because I also like to go explore but I just don't want to feel like I need another holiday after a holiday.
Exactly. I relate to that so hard that तुम छुट्टी मनाने गए हो, तुम छुट्टी मनाने के लिए भी तुम्हें छुट्टी लेनी पड़ रही है तो फिर तो
Yeah. We find a balance. I mean, when we went to Bhutan, we did the Tiger's Nest trek.
Oh wow.
Right.
Was it nice? I've heard such good things.
It
Fabulous.
was really
Worth it.
beautiful. Yeah, so matlab, I also like to go do stuff. Lekin at some point I'll be like, okay, now just chill also. Like
Huh.
I need a combination.
Yeah. And you're the opposite.
I'm completely the opposite.
Let's talk about entrepreneurship in general. What does it take to be an entrepreneur? Because I know that a lot of my listeners will be people who are aspiring to be there, where you are right now. So both of you just tell me what it takes to be one.
I think it starts with an idea, right? I think you need to have that in place, which is obvious. I think you need to have a insane amount of belief in the idea, because when you start, people will say, why are you doing it? Now, you might be leaving a very safe job, and very naturally your parents, your siblings, etc. will say, why are you doing it, right? And they will actually tell you everything that can go wrong, which is fair, right? Because they're looking out for you. But you need to kind of be able to go against the better advice of some of the closest people around you, because you believe in it more than anything else out there. and then you need to have a insane amount of passion, right? And because whatever can go wrong will go wrong and more will go wrong.
अच्छा ओके सो
वो
यहाँ पे
होगा।
कोई पॉजिटिविटी नहीं है
नहीं वो like होगा, but you see it'll like you will have those great days and you'll have those absolutely miserable days, right? And that's
Yeah.
the journey of I think every entrepreneur.
एवरी स्टार्टअप या
But you need to have that कि यार आज जो भी हो जाए करना है.
conviction.
Conviction, right? So that belief and passion.
What about you, Swati? What do you think is what does it take to be an entrepreneur?
Well, all of this that Rohan said, of course, hard work and basic things also like having enough done enough research on unit metrics, business model. आगे जाके when earlier people used to ask me to make a 5-year model, I'll be like 5 साल में क्या होगा मुझे क्या पता, क्यों बनाने को बोलते हैं मॉडल, कुछ फ़ायदा नहीं है इसका. लेकिन the more we started doing, the more we realized कि actually उसको करने से पता तो लगता है कि इन आर इमेजिनेशन हम कितना बड़ा बिजनेस ये बना सकते हैं. एंड उससे पता लगता है कि एक्चुअली ये करने लायक है कि नहीं है. बिकॉज इज इट बिग इनफ फॉर यू एज एन इंडस्ट्री, इज द टोटल अवेलेबल, द टैम साइज इनफ, द मार्केट साइज इनफ, इज विल यू गेट इनफ डेप्थ. सो ऑल ऑफ दैट इज important. But I think as you it's really important to also see how to start becoming a leader once you become an entrepreneur, because the bigger your dream, the more important your team. This is like our singular learning, right? Because entrepreneur इकट्ठा 1 या 2 लोग या ज़्यादा ज़्यादा 3-4 लोग मिलके बिजनेस शुरू करेंगे. बट वो मल्टीप्लिकेशन ऑफ बिजनेस एंड ग्रोथ तभी होती है जब आपके साथ बहुत एक अच्छी सॉलिड टीम आती है. एंड देन व्हेन दैट टीम कम्स, इनिशियली यू स्टार्ट ऑफ बीइंग अ मैनेजर, सेइंग तुम ये करो, तुम ये करो, तुम चेक किया. आफ्टर अ पॉइंट यू रियलाइज कि एक्चुअली मैनेजर नहीं, यू हैव टू समहाउ बिकम अ लीडर. So you go through that journey. I mean, we have a team of 350 people now, right? Who are all over India, and काफ़ी बड़ी team है और हर skill set के लोग हैं. So we need to cut across, right? From 2 to 350, and that has been my singular sort of learning journey, evolution. Because when you are an entrepreneur, you're also doing it because आप भी grow करते हो in that process. And I think that growth from entrepreneur to leader is a very important growth of you as an individual. One has to embrace that.
That's what you meant when you said she has people skills and
Totally.
she knows how
Totally.
No, I mean, we all have to work on it.
Of course,
We've all had times when initially when we started off, log kuch bholenge, and you also need to learn how to conduct yourself.
Fair.
Now I think, we lose our cool much less.
बट मुझे एक बात बताओ, ऐसा भी बोलते हैं कि तुम्हें हमेशा पता होना चाहिए किस जगह से सही वक्त पे कब निकलना है. स्टार्टअप लाइफ में ये भी होता है that people start these things and there is no shame in admitting that sometimes they don't work out and it's not for you. How does an entrepreneur know कि यार okay, now it's time for me to accept that this is not going to work out and let me look for other avenues and not waste more time?
Look, I think it's always looking at the reality of what is really happening, right? And there is no right answer to this. In fact, a very, very hard answer to figure out because you hit a wall, right? Now, do I break the wall, which is persistence? And, we were just
And
talking
hope
about
there is something
hope
on the
there
other
is-
side.
Absolutely, right? So do I be persistent about it? So am I being foolish in my persistance or am I being brave in my persistence, right?
Yeah.
And, the difference between foolish and bravery sometimes is a very thin line.
Yeah.
And I think it's just somewhere it's your gut, right? कि यार ये करेंगे ही.
And the market also rewards both sides, right? Sometimes now you will see businesses जो पुराने and people will, क्योंकि अब वो बाद में चल गए, so people say देखो कितने टाइम लगे रहे, अच्छा हुआ,
हाँ.
But कई बार ही लगता है इतने टाइम से लगे हैं, नहीं हो रहा तो छोड़ क्यों नहीं देते. हर टाइप के हैं.
Also, no matter what decision you take, there is no way in life that you'll ever know कि वो दूसरा decision लेते तो क्या होता.
Absolutely.
वो तो नहीं पता ना. मतलब like you think कि आपने persistently wall break कर दी और आगे कुछ नहीं मिला, तो you also don't know कि अगर wall break करके नहीं कहीं और गए होते तो भी आपको क्या पता क्या अच्छा होता.
बिल्कुल.
But in hindsight things usually do work out. Like हमने जब अपना UK बिजनेस शुरू किया था, उसके 1 साल बाद हमें एक्विजिशन ऑफर आई थी 1 million pounds की. ठीक है, एंड उसको हमने ये सोचा कि यार ये तो अच्छा है, कर लेते हैं.
मैं तभी भी जीरो काउंट
1 million pounds will be how much? Zeros तो 6 होंगे उसके अंदर, बट कन्वर्जन भी करना पड़ेगा साथ में. So anyway, so we got that offer and we said कि we seriously considered because we thought अभी तो शुरू किया था, अगर अभी हो जाता है तो. But then we thought यार अगर 1 साल में 1 million मिल सकता है तो कुछ साल बाद और मिल सकता है शायद. So इसलिए we didn't sell. you know, and in hindsight we have not regretted that decision because we know that our value has gone up over time and now आगे जाके अब जो भी हो who knows, but at least those
So
decisions
that was a
and
gut,
that
gut feeling
experience,
कि
it
ये
was
हुआ
a
है तो
gut
इससे better
feeling.
भी होगा.
एंड सबको पता है, सबको अपनी बुक्स देखने पे पता लगेगा कि क्या है. अगर आप 1500 रुपये का कस्टमर एक्वायर कर रहे हो और आपको वो कभी भी वापस नहीं मिल रहा पैसा, देन यू नो योर सेल्फ कि
Actually, no, as
कैसे
an
करना है.
entrepreneur, it's very important to be very real to yourself. Like, you just
Reality
cannot,
check.
that reality check and constantly evaluating, right? You just cannot, you know, be dishonest to yourself, right? The facts are the facts, right? And you either look at them or, and a lot of people try to embellish that within themselves.
Right. Okay, so ऐसा भी बोलते हैं that if you're an entrepreneur, you're your own boss और आपके जो working hours होते हैं बहुत flexible होते हैं.
बहुत फ्लेक्सिबल है, कभी ख़त्म नहीं होता है.
So what is the reality behind it? क्योंकि a lot of people right out of school उनको एक idea दिया गया है ऐसा कि entrepreneur life होती है कि बहुत freedom है, तुम्हें जो करना है करो, you know, you have a marker, you have a whiteboard and you're writing crazy ideas on it and it's happening. What's the reality?
So, you know, it's a very funny story, right? So about a few years back, I gave my dad a book called The 4-Hour Work Week. Okay, so the book basically talks about how, you know, this guy who was burdened with a job and he sort of, you know, left, and, you know, Tim Ferriss wrote this book. And my dad keeps looking at me and saying that, boss, you left at 8, you're back at 8, where is your 4-hour work week? Right? And it's sort of become a joke at home, but, you know, I'll tell you the challenge, right? As an entrepreneur, you can stop at any time. I can leave at 6, right? But, you know, kahin na andar there is a fire or khujli which says ki yaar nahi, no, I got to do more, and you kind of build the pressure on your own, right?
और सारी accountability तो आपकी खुद की है ना. You're not working for
Correct.
someone कि मैं अपना काम करके निकल जाऊँ.
Correct. And I think that's what drives you, right? The fact that there's no ceiling, right? How far do you want to go?
Yeah.
So that's where I think
Sometimes I
switching off
tell
is hard.
Yeah, sometimes I tell him कि you know it's like ये वाला एक पूरा पार्ट है, लोग कहते हैं flexibility with entrepreneurship, हमें उसकी थोड़ा यूज़ तो करना चाहिए. So इसलिए, but yeah, you see how I'm framing it because उतना ही यूज़ है.
I want to conclude this podcast also with a very pertinent question, which is, can anyone be an entrepreneur?
My answer would be no.
Wow, that's brutal.
Because I think
Once again, let's hear his answer and then
yes, okay.
Is it a yes or a no? It can't be, it depends.
I think it's a yes. My view is
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
good. You got two answers.
Yeah, that's good and there's no argument here. They were right. Okay, so let's hear from you first. Why did you say no?
I think because it takes a kind of crazy to be an entrepreneur. You really need to have a lot of passion, a lot of enthusiasm, and a lot of commitment. And I think that, you know, it's not that anybody can't. Actually, everybody can. There are times in life जब आपकी life में क्या क्या होता है and you really step up, right? You really step up for that because you really care. So I think हर जने के अंदर capacity है कि वो entrepreneur बन सके, but हर जना नहीं बन पाएगा because उतना level of commitment वो अपने काम को नहीं देगा जितना चाहिए, I think, to succeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you say yes?
See, the reason I say yes is, if you think about the great successes around us, right? People we look up, they come from all sorts of backgrounds, right? So you've got the Jobs and the Gates, college dropouts, Bezos has a different life, Ambani's have a different life. And, you know, because they come from everywhere, look, everything requires hard work, right? So nothing is going to just come because you say, look, मैं entrepreneur बनूंगा, right?
Right.
But because they come from all walks of life, it like there's nothing that defines कि look, अगर आप 6 feet 4 हो, बड़े biceps हैं तो आप entrepreneur बनोगे.
भगवान ने आपको टैटू बना
भगवान ने tattoo दिया है.
तू बनेगा
Right?
entrepreneur.
So I just think that look, everything in life requires hard work, right? But the fact that the world around us is filled with amazing stories of entrepreneurs who've done brilliant things out of nowhere, which is why I think anyone can become an entrepreneur.
So
Yeah.
that's also a good answer.
Yeah.
चलो फिर अब हम चलते हैं अपने next segment पे, which is called कुछ करते हैं यार. I'm gonna ask you a fun question. You have to be brutally honest, okay? As
Okay.
entrepreneurs, what are the parts of entrepreneur life that nobody talks about? You go first.
Nobody talks about. You get paid less than your market value.
Really?
I think so.
इतने लोगों को लगता है या इससे तो बहुत पैसा है, अगर तुम्हारा स्टार्टअप चल गया बहुत पैसा है.
स्टार्टअप चल गया, दैट्स ट्रू, बट जो रियल पैसा है ना वो तब आता है जब या तो कंपनी बिके या आईपीओ हो या
हाँ.
फिर आपके मल्टीपल फंड रेज हो गए हैं जहाँ बाद में कोई आपकी स्टेक खरीद रहा है.
मुझे बाय द वे कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा, मैं हाँ कर रहा हूँ. हाँ.
बट जो सैलरी ऑन पेपर होती है मुझे नहीं लगता वो आपको मार्केट कंपेरेबल होती है, बिकॉज यू हैव इक्विटी इन द बिजनेस ना. सो इन्वेस्टर्स ऑलवेज से कि आपके शेयर्स की वैल्यू है और उस बिजनेस को ग्रो करो ताकि शेयर्स की वैल्यू ग्रो करे.
Okay. What
Yeah.
about you? What do you think is something that people don't is never talked about entrepreneur life?
It's not a sexy job.
Sexy. Who thinks it's
In
a
the
sexy
sense that
job?
We're saying it's
everything,
not sexy underpaid job.
so everything is your problem, right? So kal ko, let's say there's a problem with the bathrooms, right? Now there are people to do it, but it's your problem. Accounts में कुछ हो गया, it's your problem. So
Like लोग आपके पास ही आएंगे और you have nobody to go
and
to.
you have nobody to go to, right? So everything is a problem. Is your problem and only your problem to solve, right? Because people are just going to say it's not my job. You hired me to do marketing. मैं ये थोड़ी करूँगा.
Which is what we used to do at our jobs. कि we are being paid a salary to do this. We're doing that. After that, it's your company, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So we are those dudes.
Everything that can go wrong हमारी problem है. तो and people बाहर से लगता है कि लोग great life, but the reality is it's hard.
Actually, if you think about it, जो क्वेश्चन आपने हमसे पूछा था, हम दोनों ने उस एक कॉइन के 2 सेम आंसर दिए हैं. मैंने बोला है कि नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि बहुत हार्ड वर्क है, बट अगर उतना कोई भी हार्ड वर्क करे तो बन सकता है. दैट्स ट्रू. So that's kind of what we basically ended up saying.
अच्छा मुझे ये बताओ, एज अ कपल आप लोग शादियों में कपड़े कलर कोऑर्डिनेट करके जाते हो?
नहीं.
Are you that couple?
कभी भी नहीं.
No,
कभी भी
no,
नहीं.
no.
Okay. ठीक है.
थोड़ा
अच्छा
ज़्यादा
तो all the aspiring entrepreneurs listening to this, उनके लिए is there like a final word from your side?
Do it if you love it.
Are you thinking of what?
Yeah, I
good
have so
advice?
many angles in my mind. It's like, enjoy the journey, the destination will happen. Or, what has really worked for me, I think, is having, no matter how your startup is going, no matter what your routine
Yeah.
is, make sure you have a good morning routine. Because, when I show up to work and we do this morning call at 9:30, everyone is like, how do you have so much energy? And I'm always thinking, ये मुझसे क्यों पूछता है? And then I realize कि it's because I have a good morning routine in the morning. I do yoga, chanting, gratitude, meditation. It sets me up for the day. So आप चाहे entrepreneur बनो या ना बनो, I think having that kind of a routine is good because, it energizes you yourself.
Okay, cool. So before we end this episode, I want to ask you one final question, which is define the modern gentleman in one word.
Nice guy.
So nice.
Yeah. The modern gentleman to me is a guy who's actually nice. When we were in college, it was always about the bad boys.
हाँ.
The bad boys get lucky, but I think the nice guys are the ones who get lucky.
बहुत सारे लड़के अभी थोड़े उनकी सांस में सांस आई होगी. चलो हमारा स्कोप है. What about you?
Definitely.
Respectful.
Respectful. Why? Explain करिए.
I think, especially the world we're living in, right? There is a lot that I see as differences between the genders today, right? And not in India, but the Bharat we live in is very, very hard, for women, right? And I think the fundamental problem is that there is a lack of respect, and I think that
Agreed.
and that downstreams, right? So I think for us to evolve, for us to change, for us to become India or whatever we want to call this,
Yeah.
right? I think respect is probably the starting point, right? Because if I respect
For
someone,
men.
then
Yeah.
for men, right? And if I respect somebody, then I give you a lot of freedom. I give you the ability to go out and chase your dream, do a lot of other things, right? Barring that, like, love is good. I mean, like, being nice is good, but I think it starts with respect.
Okay, I mean that's beautiful. Both of you have summed it up really, really well. Thank you so much, Rohan and Swati, for being here. I hope you had a good time, and I hope इस discussion के बाद घर पे जाके कुछ तूने ऐसे कैसे बोला ये नहीं हो रहा हो.
No. I think we're pretty clean.
Yes.
Yeah,
It
I
was
can
a
tell.
great,
It was great,
great chat.
chatting up with both of you. And with this, we end the episode. Thank you so much for listening, tuning in, or watching this. If you're watching this on YouTube, this is Ankush Bahuguna, your host from The Gentleman Show by The Man Company, signing off. And hope you have a great day. Bye. Also, give us feedback on social media @Ankush Bahuguna, @The Man Company. And yes, have a good day.